Back to Direct Strike, and let's get this show on the road. It is weekly brawl time, so let's get ready to rumble. Now, if you are new to Direct Strike, this is basically a version of StarCraft, which kind of gives you like an arena PvP mode with all the different commanders and units you can get in the game. You can kind of go back and forth, brawling style, almost like Command and Conquer, but without actually having to build buildings. You just build units. And the nice thing I like about the weekly brawl shenanigans is that every week, every 7 days, we get a whole new set of buffs and map modifiers we get to play with. This week we get NPC structures. We get one oh shit tactical nuke button, which we can nuke basically an entire enemy's wave on our side of the map, and we also have limited visibility, which makes our units not see as far. So as you're going to see in a few seconds, once everybody gets buffed up, we are going to have some fun, and you can see what all these buffs basically add a different dynamic to the game and a more interesting aspect to the game. I'm probably going to do the first match of the day as Hans and Horner once again, and we're going to start it off with a bang. And the nice thing I like about Hans and Horner is that his units give other units buffs. So one unit will give the other side hit points, and the other side's unit will give the other side... Nah, that made absolutely no sense. I'll show you guys once we get in game and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But overall, what it means is the more units I keep spamming down throughout the match, the more powerful all my forces get as a whole. So that is a very OP buff towards mid to late game when you start getting hundreds of units out on the map. So, and that's the nice thing is my units will always keep scaling up the longer the match goes. Alright, let's get Hans and Horner selected. Kill circle. I always like to do my first gas right off the back. These are the NPC structures being built that I was telling you guys about, so let's get our mines down. Oh yeah, Hans and Horner gets these mega mines, which basically you can put mines down around on your defensive side. You get one every about 180 seconds, and then it allows, they will respawn, which is the good thing. So you can constantly keep putting them down, and by the time you're mid-game, you will get a bunch of explosive bombs going all across the map. Alright, looks like we got stalkers up and running. Alright, now this is what I was telling you about the buffs on these. Hans forces grant 1% life. Well, it's a fixed percentage based on what kind of units you get out on the field. So basically, Hans forces will give life to Horner's forces, and Horner's forces will give attack speed to Hans forces, which is really cool. Now, I don't like I was advised against doing tech upgrades, which are these right here, research, at the beginning of a playthrough. So we're going to wait until we get quite a few units, and then we are going to get our first set of tech upgrades. Now, this has been working very well for me. I definitely want to give that guy props for giving me that advice. That has changed the way I play this game tenfold. I tend to get the smaller units down faster and do more smaller units before I do upgrades, but the second I start getting the bigger units that are like 360, 310, like 400 minerals, I'll get about 3 to 7 of these down before I'll do the upgrade. So I'll get quite a few on the field still before I do the actual upgrade, then I'll get the upgrade in. But for like these small, you know, like Reapers, Hellions, Hellbats, your first frontline units, I'll get like a full line of them down before we will actually start worrying about their upgrades, which is normally about 1 to 2 waves. So, and now that I got a full line of Hellbats up and running, we're going to get one more in this little corner over here too. I'll start, actually, we'll get the first inhalation fluid, which will basically give them a fire dot damage buff now. So, they're not, Hellbats aren't as potent on structures as they are against dealing with Zerg spam like this. We'll get the last one there. And now, if we still actually have anybody alive, we'll get the wildfire explosion, which will basically increase, every time we kill a unit now, they'll do like an AoE splash damage type deal and debuff everybody. And it looks like we're gonna get some early shenanigans out with stalkers and everything. So let's get our Hellions on the field. About the 4.5 minute mark, we're gonna get our next gas. We got another mine we can put down. We're not gonna get weapons or armor just yet. I want to get unit. We're gonna try and get units up and running. Put another Hellion there. Now these basically are gonna be able. Can I auto set this? I do not think I can auto set these. No, I cannot. Nope. Okay, so I just like to leave the Hellions as is then. I don't really deal with their transformation mode, but they can transform into Hellbats, I believe, so just good little tidbit. Actually, let me try something.
I'm waiting on you.
Okay, I gotta transform them before they roll out. That's interesting. And I can transform these into Hellions also. Interesting, okay. I just learned something new. I learned something new showing you guys something new. Alright, let's get we're gonna get one more out and then we'll get their tar bomb upgrades.
Death rides with me.
Actually, let's reverse it. Let's get tar bomb now. Because we already have a decent amount on the wave on the field. So they can start spamming their tar bombs now. Very nice. And then we will get this one out on the field for the next wave. And we just took their bunker, which gives us an additional 125 minerals. So let's get Terran trophy up. This just adds to aesthetic experience. It's not like a map buff.
Not a problem.
And we are going to get the aerosol stims on these, which basically let them transform faster, and when they're killed, they give a 25% movement speed and 15% attack speed bonus to my nearby allies, which is really good. Now we're going to get our first weapons. We're going to get our gas. I'm a little late on what I said I wanted to get the gas on, but I want to get this full front line and tech upgrades going and weapons for this wave. So probably about the 5 minute mark, you can get the next gas. It would still be acceptable. And then we're going to go right for T2 now. T2 are where all my big units are. Like the bulk of my forces are T2. Alright, there's T2 rolling. Now this is going to take about... I don't know if it's actually seconds this counts down in, or if this is ticks. Okay, it's seconds, so 45 seconds for T2. Alright, you want to keep putting these mines down no matter how the game is going, because these are your defensive structures. It's always better to have too many down than have none down at all, and then you're basically stuck without any of them. Because you have no idea how the game's going to go. Now, I'm actually saving my minerals up, because what I like to do next is I like to get my ravens down, which are these things. They're going to act as detectors, and they're going to give an analyze weakness ability, which will basically make all our enemy units take more damage to ground units. I get about 3 of them down. That's about ideal for early game. You can get away with 1 or 2, but I like 3 just because of the multi-threaded sensors. Basically, I'm now going to be able to target paint like 4 to 5 enemies with an analyze weakness debuff. Actually, let me see.
Your disposal.
Which do 3 bonus. I think it's 5. It might be 3. I think you might get an initial of 1 and then it adds 2 more. I'll look at it when we actually get on the field. Now, what we're going to want to do is, I like gassing heavily at this point because my bigger units cost between 360 and 310. So the more income I have at the beginning of the game, the faster I can span out these units. Now, each mine does have a bar on it when it actually pays for itself and you start going net surplus. Like, as you can see, like grants 0.5 more per second, but it takes 12.5 minutes for it to pay for itself. So you kind of want to watch your timer and see how everything is going as you start spamming out all these units. So, they're starting to go air units now, which we're going to get Vikings to counter that. So we will decimate, yeah, they're going Banshee. Oh wait, are these ours? No, these are enemy banshees. Okay. These, since they're going enemy banshees, I'm gonna start going Vikings to counter that.
Strike
My
hard and
Vikings
fast.
basically can transform into ground units also, so they can attack air and ground. They will prioritize air, but then they will transform into ground. So it's kind of cool.
Ready to blunder.
They're expensive though. I mean, you go for a Viking rush right off the back, and it takes you a while to build up the total amount of Vikings. That's what I'm getting at. I've never really gone battle cruiser rush because literally you would spend turn after turn after turn just saving minerals to get a single battle cruiser out. But they are very powerful. As you can see, they give you 7.5% attack speed for Han's forces. So that's a huge buff for the ground units.
I like it. Weapons primed. Yes, sir. Ready to blunder.
Alright, my Vikings are taking care of all the Banshees really well, and now we're going to transform. They're going to have a ground attack now. Let's get another mine down.
I can't build here.
Put that one there. And then we get quite a few good upgrades for Banshees, but I'm not going to get any of the upgrades until we have at least 5 of them
There's the
on the
spirit.
map. You want to spend all your early game resources getting as many units out on the field as you can. And since they're starting to stack up a lot of those ground units, I'm actually going to get a line of Reapers out, which these guys will basically start getting cluster mines they can throw at the enemies, which will do AoE damage and do a knockback. So
I'm going.
it'll kind of help a little bit. Not to mention they give me 0.5% life to all my Banshees per one of these I put down. So 425, we'll get 427. See? Pretty cool, huh? Alright, let's get a scan up so we can see what we're shooting. Alright, there go all the air units. We're gonna get this last Banshee down now.
I love a good raid.
Or not Banshee, we're gonna get this last Viking down. Ugh. This is why you do not record and stream when you first wake up on the map. You cannot talk, right? Should we gonna have enough time to get one more? Let's get... Just made the wave. Uh-oh, somebody's lagging. Now, I have two choices. I can either go Shredder rounds, which is gonna add a splash damage to my Vikings, or we can go weapons for all our units. Which at this point, we're gonna get the Shredder rounds. Because they're stacking so many units like this, I want all my Vikings to basically do an AoE splash now versus all the enemy units. Now, and also we will give weapons too. We'll deal with all their Banshees. Right, now we're gonna transform. Let's get weapon upgrade. We should be able to melt Alarak before we die. Now he's countering with artillery units, which is kind of good. Let's get armor upgrades. Alright, we're starting to get void raids up, so that's going to help with some of the longer range damage. Now, I'm going to go back to getting my Reapers out. Alright, we got a front line of Reapers now. I'm going to want to start thinking about this last refinery at about the 13 to 14 minute mark. But in the meantime, I'm going to get a back line of Reapers.
Not enough minerals.
That way my front line can take the bulk of the damage, and then these bad boys can come in from the rear and unleash hell again. They don't do as much one-on-one damage, but it's their cluster mines that can do a lot of damage after all the units have upgraded
Not
them.
enough minerals.
Or not upgraded, after they've stacked up. As you can see right here. You're going to see in a second, these Vikings are going to really start shredding all this group of ground units. See? They're like we're piercing through groups of units, which is very good. That's what you want to see.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
We keep getting these bad boys out. Now see, the nice thing is all these voids are going to take out all the rear, but the second they get on the Nexus, they will melt it just like this. And is this going to be a GG? Not quite. Almost, though.
It's on. I can't build here.
Not enough minerals.
And with that wave up and coming, I'm gonna get the we're gonna get the cluster charges.
Research complete.
I'm just gonna go right for armor too. Actually, let's get jetpack override.
Research complete.
And see, they haven't even used their nuke shot on us, which I don't know why they're waiting, but that's on them. And then we're gonna get wildfire missiles too.
Complete.
And that AoE right there is wildfire missiles. And while we're at it, we'll get the tack jump for the Ravens.
Complete.
Just because we can. I don't think this is going to last more than 1 or 2 more turns, so I'm not worried about keep spamming units down. I mean, we are going to keep getting units down, but I'm not worried too much about blowing a few resources on tech right now, so. And we'll get armor before we hit. Alright, that allows us to take another point of damage on all our units. I should be able to crash through this wave. See, here come all my rear units now. These guys are going to take the bulk of the damage. Oh, that was the tactical oh shit nuke button. They used it on me. Yeah, my teammate had to ask about a nuke and they ended up using it on me. Alright, that's going to give them a little more edge. So,
Striking. Aggressive. I like it.
we're going to get another Viking on the field.
Ready to plunder.
Alright, I'm gonna finish this row of Vikings and then we're gonna start getting a couple of wraiths out on the field. I don't see a need to start doing Widowmine shenanigans just yet, but I mean another strategy I also like using is I'll get this line of Reapers in the rear and then put a bunch of Hellbats in the back too. That way when these first ones die and take all the initial attacks, the rear line comes up and just mows everything down like a secondary string. Alright, let's get another Viking up.
Ready to plunder.
I'm gonna get this gas down just because in case they still got 2 more nukes, so there's a possibility they can keep pushing us back. Or not. Alright, GG everybody, GG. And let's get another match up and running and see what we can get into now. Alright, victory. Let's see how we did in terms of unit performance. This is why I like using Hans and Horner. I'm really good at using this guy. Let's see, how do we do on score? See, I was low on score, but I did have a good amount of units out, so that's not too bad. All right, let's get another game up and running.